Hello and welcome to the Master Fran Art Stream. It's your host, Brian Francis, the Fran in the Master Fran Art Stream. Welcome. Welcome to my late night, 7:30 p.m. on a Thursday night, September 28th, I think it is. Yes, it's September 28th. I'm looking at my calendar. Welcome. It's nighttime. I have missed a whole stream and I've kind of I just didn't feel like really just making that much of a giant fanfare about it. Whoever's following me follows me. Whoever doesn't, I'm not going to fret too much. I archive these streams on YouTube anyway. You could go to youtube.com/MasterFranArtStream, which is different than my main channel, Master Fran. Just Master Fran. It's just my personal art YouTube. But I made a separate art stream YouTube, mostly for archive reasons, so that's the general gist of what I'm doing. So, what have I been up to for the past week? Well, not much. I've been doing some convention prep for a con. It's a small con called the Walk Con, and that's going to be something. I was at Art Walk 2 weeks ago during Mexican Independence Day, so that was the weekend before last week. That was pretty nice. It was a nice festival. It's how that goes. You are enjoying the festivities of, Mexican cuisine and all that. So it's been pretty good for me. And overall, I've just been doing my best and staying at things, trying to work on practically everything at the same time. I'm prepping for cons while working on new art, while working on game development. I heard Unity walked back their freaking runtime error thing, or runtime pricing. I don't even care. It's kind of just sucky already. I don't even care at this point. Adam's still stick with Godot. Not Godot, but Unity. I'm gonna be learning Godot sooner or later. I'll figure it out. It's one of those things. I'm doing it on my personal time, though. I'm just looking at tutorials whenever I am not working on this. I just do some little things, because, it's always good to have extra skills in general. So, that's kind of just the gist of what I've been up to. And, will this animate right? Let me see. I don't like how it bulges so much. I'd probably make something different with this. Like, there's a piece of the club that could be erased here. Yeah, sorry about that. I am still developing this bear animation, and it's pretty large, but I'm kind of like wondering, where will this even be worth the design? And that's mostly a test thing. I need to get this character attacking ASAP, because yeah, this needs to be. And I just noticed that this fist is getting larger. That's actually a problem, because if his hand's getting bigger in comparison to this hand and this hand, that's a bit of a problem now that I'm looking at this. I think I might need to shrink this hand a bit. just so. Come on. I need to shrink this hand because I think I have gone off model in terms of the types of hands needed. Oh yeah, I still need to talk about my day, haven't I? I mean, my week's kind of simple. I did my stuff. I do a lot of I was talking about Unity's runtime thing, and yeah, while they did walk it back, I'm personally frustrated, and that's mostly a personal thing. I don't speak for Adam, my programmer for Black Mask. He says what he wants, I'll say what I want. Though technically I do represent, I guess the game because I am working on it. We are together in this, and I want to overstep his word on a lot of this stuff. But I mean, overall, I don't like the Unity runtime stuff, and the fact that they'll just change your TOS is not a good thing. Like if you were freelancing, or if you were taking a commission, we'll just put this back to art. If you were taking a commission and you suddenly tell a person, oh hey, I'm going to completely neglect your commission, and then afterward you go back and say, actually I made a mistake, I'm not gonna neglect your commission. Like that just tells the commissioner that you're very untrustworthy, because you just tell them one thing that makes them distrust you, then you tell them another thing with this weird thought that, oh, you do a little trolling, or yada yada, and it's kind of like, I can't really trust you at that point because you seem like you're just not taking this seriously. That's kind of just my dumb thoughts on the Unity stuff. I mean, we do have this long-term plan that after we finish the first Black Mask game, we're just gonna abandon Unity. And obviously, my programmer still has his day job, so I don't know what he's gonna do with that. But, hopefully we'll make enough money that we can walk away. So that's kind of just the big hopes and dreams thing. And we're just gonna shrink you, because you need to be much, much smaller. Yeah. I'll just put you here, and that'll work. Erase that. This is going to be slightly better. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd figure out what I can with this. Tonight's stream is me just gonna draw and just be at peace. I've actually been home drawing. I usually get home around 8-ish or 7-ish. I don't ever feel like streaming. It's one of those things where streaming doesn't seem fun to me. And I do question whether or not streaming is for me pretty frequently. I mean, obviously it's, the numbers aren't super important. But I think at this point, I've just made this my weekly podcast. Yeah, weekly. I'm gonna lie about that, weekly. But basically, I'm now just changing my mindset on these streams where I just make this more of a personal podcast. This is me kind of just winging it, being me, and whoever doesn't listen. Whoever does listen, they can always chill. This is an art podcast, so I'm not really gonna fret too hard about that. But yeah, day job stuff's going well. Still doing the gallery at the Joliet Township Library at the Book and Bean Cafe. So if you're interested in checking out my original pages of Shirley's Day and Instant at the Game Store, you can stop by there. It's on Black Road and Black Road near Essington, if I remember correctly. And it's pretty good. It's a nice time. Grab some coffee and enjoy the fun little things with that. And I believe every Thursday they do a open mic night where a bunch of local authors in Joliet town kind of just do some things like poetry slams and reading sessions of novels they're currently writing, and it's a really nice time. I sometimes go to them, and other commitments have stopped me, so I apologize to anyone who's watching this stream and in that thing that I haven't shown up in months. But it's one of those things where I gotta deal with the hand that I'm dealt overall. There was also this other Game Boy Arts art showcase that I've fallen off of. I did not have any time, or no, it's not that I didn't have time. I didn't have the will to make time. Let's be truthful about this. I had the time. I just didn't make the time. So that's on me. But this is a basic just pixel art showcase using the Game Boy Studio engine. And it was mostly just going to be a artist showcase of pixel artists just doing their stuff, and it's pretty nice. I wanted to do that, do a big art contest. Well, it's not a contest, it's not a competition, but just a big collaboration, and I've dropped the ball, and I don't even know what I can really say about this other than, hey, I can automate my tweets on Twitter, so yeah. So I got that going for me, and been doing that, just posting a bunch of wolves just for the hell of it. I had moderate success posting some freaking tweet of a wolf, one of the many wolf enemy characters. I do need to write more stuff with them, or at least write more conflicts of those wolves. The most I know is they are a enemy faction. And, they go around, they bite animals. Are they an evil race? It's very likely I've tilted to that because I'm making fantasy and I just cannot get away from that, can I? So, yeah, I've just been figuring that stuff out. And if not, it's not that deep. I'm still figuring out writing, I guess. And writing is harder than it should be. All I gotta do is just tell the stupid story, and I'm supposed to make it work. Alright, so arm's actually 1 pixel wide. Okay. Yeah, I've also been listening to a lot of indie death music, of course. I've also heard about the freaking Epic layoff thing, and it does remind me that, oh yeah, Epic owns fucking Bandcamp, so everything I love is becoming more and more consolidated into this giant mush of gray corporations. And we live in a society. And, I can be frustrated about this all I like, and there's little I can actually do about that, personally. But, I mean, obviously, there's things you can do. I mean, voting should work, but whatever. It's one of those things where you pretty much need to do your research when it comes to all that stuff. Life kind of just blows overall, and it's easy to give up. It's pretty easy to kind of just feel like, why bother? But this stuff does matter in the long run, I'd say. Or at least that's what my therapist tells me. This stuff isn't eternal. Like, this too shall pass, yada yada, that kind of thing. And I'm focusing on the worst aspects when you can easily not focus on the worst aspects of things. And it's learnable skill. Like, you're not gonna instantly get cured for working on stuff. Like, it takes a bit of finagling to get yourself to get in a place of non-sadness. You're trying to get yourself to not completely feel like everything's absolute garbage. Like, you want to get yourself out of that point in your head where you're not just negatively spiraling, but getting yourself into a headspace that there is a solution to the bad feeling, and there is a way out of a bad situation if you just give yourself the chance to figure it out. Think it up, ponder it, and don't completely despair about how much the thing sucks at the moment. So, I go to a therapist. Like, that's probably the main reason why I don't feel as down and depressed all the time. Like, I'd say maybe a year before, I hadn't been doing the therapist thing, and I'd just been down on life. Like, constantly, like, feeling that everything sucks and will suck forever. Nothing will actually get better. And only dumbasses actually think things get better. And, that's kind of just the mental state that, you'll just end up being in for a while because, well, it's easy to think that. It's an easy mind trap to get yourself in because, well, your human brain is built, or, well, maybe not your human brain, but more your lizard brain, your, like, little fight or flight reactions there to constantly be looking for risks and bad things to happen and cautioning yourself about, like, things like predators and yada yada. And there's a bunch of science. I don't remember the science off the top of my head. But long story short, worrying used to be a survival mechanism, and now it's not super required because we live in a place where getting eaten by a tiger is not going to be that easy because we invented guns and we don't live in Asia, or at least I don't live in Asia. Like, I live in America, good old United States of hamburgers, that type of thing. So, I mean, I'm not going to be worried about tigers. I guess mountain lions. There are mountain lions here. But actually, I live, like, in the Midwest. Maybe coyotes. I guess if coyotes are really starving and really want to fight you, they'll bite your knees or something, that's something you could be fearful of. Coyotes. Coyotes are a problem. I mean, coyotes are a legit problem overall. Like they'll eat your pets if you don't keep an eye on them. So make sure that your pets are secure if you ever find out that there are coyotes nearby. Secure your pets. Make sure that all your valuable livestock is locked up so the coyotes don't eat them. Because coyotes are very opportunistic. They'll take whatever chance they can to get whatever food they can muster. Now, they're pretty resourceful at that. And my coyote knowledge is kind of pissed, but whatever. My animal knowledge is actually worse than you think. But of course, I make furry art. Nobody's really going to come to me for fucking animal advice. But I should. I should at least be able to know enough about, animal stuff. There are gun nuts all over the place who kind of bitch and moan about the accuracy of fucking guns and bullets, and it's fuck off. Put that bullet in your own head. It's not that deep. I mean, I'm being mean. I'm being an asshole. But it's one of those things where it's you have turbo nerds everywhere, and you kind of feel like you need to listen to the turbo nerds, even though you kind of don't have to. And my biggest flaw is that I actually give a fuck about what people think about me. And I am slowly and steadily getting better at just having a bit of a spine when it comes to just saying that I'm a person of value and that no one can take that away from me. Because you spend a lot of time, especially as an artist, especially as a quote-unquote unsuccessful artist, being sad about your life situation and not really believing that any compliment anyone could tell you is good. Everybody says, oh yeah, you're real talented, Ryan. Hell, if I'm so talented, why aren't I rich? That's kind of the mindset that I've kind of just been feeling. Because, I mean, there's a hint of truth to that. Obviously, well, it's not true. Being good at art doesn't necessarily mean that you get paid well with art. I mean, Vincent Van Gogh is the infamous example. He is the poster child of starving artists. But even then, he wasn't truly starving. He was able to live with his brother, who was rich. Van Gogh had a rich family. Let's not do revisionist history, but he was well off enough that he was able to make arts and sell a decent amount. Sure, it was because he sold art late in life. I mean, I think he was 40 when he actually started taking painting seriously. Because I think... I think in his younger ages, he was doing things curating museums and doing a bunch of teaching. I think he was in the clergy for a bit, if I remember right. My art history is garbage, so I will be getting all of it wrong. And if I remember correctly, Van Gogh figured stuff out. Obviously he had to go to a mental hospital, of course. I'm not gonna ignore that. But I'd say he was able to. This is deviating far from the point of figuring out that you can be successful with art is difficult. And that was my original point, is that it is difficult, but it's not impossible. Like, other people can do it. There's plenty of artists at conventions, of course. Like, they're able to make a decent amount. I have friends who make a decent amount of money selling at conventions. I go to art shows, I go to galleries, I see other artists. They all exist. So it's not impossible. So that's the one thing that you gotta remember, is that it's hard, but it's not impossible. It's like Dark Souls. Dark Souls, hard as balls, but it's not impossible. It's not like a Kaizo Mario game. Well, actually, no. It's not unwinnable, I'd say. Kaizo Mario games can be winnable, but you have to be a turbo nerd to get through Kaizo Mario games. But the point is that it's not completely impossible to acquire, quote, success when it comes to finishing and completing artwork and making money, or at least making a living doing artwork. Obviously, there's things to it, but it's not like you can't make money from your art. You just need to make sure, it's like anything else. You practice being smart about like money stuff. And you don't even have to be like a stock market super guru or whatever. It's just, just the basics of, saving money, of course. Figure out how much money you're making, then figure out how much money you're spending. And you will subtract that. It's basic addition and subtraction. That's one thing that I will say. Like, doing money and paying bills is as simple as addition and subtraction. And it can be overwhelming, especially when they do like percentages and taxes and yada yada yada. But when you break it down from the start, you will always be starting from addition and subtraction. How much money are you losing? Then how much money you're gaining. So gaining minus losing equals your actual profit. And I mean, there's also some more stuff. There's taxes, of course. That's profit before taxes. But at the beginning, it's how much you're making before taxes. And figuring that out is the first step to understanding how your money works. And then you break it down to other things, like gauging how much time you spend on a certain thing, where, okay, you figure out, okay, it takes me maybe an hour or so to finish this drawing. And if I sell this drawing for this much, it'll be worth this much time that I did this drawing for. And, you're figuring out, okay, what's the value of my drawing compared to how much time I spent on it. That's how you figure out, basically, how much you want to get paid for your art. And, obviously, this is not financial advice. Like, I'm not going to give you extreme tax knowledge or whatever. But this is basic, just, I'd say, figuring out business stuff, where you are basically just making yourself more and more comfortable with money as you figure out how you do your spending. Like, where do you spend your money? Do you spend a lot of time working on stickers? Can you spend less time, like, making stickers? Like, spending a lot of time printing, spending a lot of time drawing the stickers, Are you spending a lot of time? Are you spending a lot of time like getting buttons? Can you find someone else to do the buttons for you? That sort of thing. That kind of works. Yeah, this could be small just a wee bit. Yeah, we'll move you just a wee bit. There we are. Yeah, I am getting better with getting this bear done. I am at least getting his arm done, or at least getting into a stride where this bear is. I think I'm finished with the animation, and now I'm just figuring out just the basic of just polishing his general body shape. Like, I've got the motions down. Let's see. Now, let me hide the sketch here. And let me make the rest of his body visible. So yeah, so far so good with this. You have a nice, straightforward animation of the bear hitting you with his club. It's a nice, snappy smash. It might be slower, but it's mostly a matter of if we need to make him slower. And I probably do need to just the walking here. There is a few issues with the walk here where like right here his cape kind of just vanishes. Let's see. Okay, so his lower body is the issue here. All right, at least paint on the belt. Oh. Oh, there we are. And let's see. We'll fill the bottom body here. That should be better. There are some little issues with his walking a little. Like I think his cape flaps too much. Like, I think that's over animated. So I think I might need to scrap that, or at least rework the loincloth there. I also need to rework this as well. Also, the arm is strangely going forward. I don't know why it's going back. It should just be going down. Sometimes the simplest animation is more than enough. Yeah, simple up and down motions more than enough. It's sort of with the beat. 1, 2, loop. 1, 2, 3, loop. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, loop. I think I know where the problem is. Okay. One, one. Let's get rid of 1. That should be better. He's hanging on that frame for too long. One, 2, 3, 4. Let's do the 1. One, 2, 4. Okay. We're getting rid of 1. Let's see. I think this lands too fast. Down. Down. Oh, fuck it. Let's hide the loincloth. This is not working. But I will save a new version. Because I've been messing with the walk frames too much. May I need to stick with the initial walk frames. Alright. This hand could be much, much smaller. I'm gonna do that. Make this hand not fucking gigantic. Oops. That's not what I'm looking for. Then nudge this forward. Still need to play through Axiom Verge. I hear there's a sequel to Axiom Verge already, and I haven't played it at all. I don't have the machine for that. I should get a machine for that. Yes, I always say that. I can do it. Like, I could just do commissions again. I should just open commissions up. There's really nothing stopping me from just saying, hey, I do commissions. Like, I could just do some, like, Halloween commissions or something. Be no problem. Just freaking open them. What am I worried about? Oh yeah, the fact that I still don't work at my game development stuff. That's true. I've been working on this bear for the past... It's now taken a month now. I have blown a month work on this bear. And it shouldn't have been like this, actually. Because basically I probably could have did this faster if I actually just focused on getting the bear done. I always keep having this feeling that I could have got this done faster. Why is it doing this? I don't know. Eyedopper? Why are you not eyedoppering? I don't understand. Oh, it was in that frickin' it was in do my dither texture mode, where I just make a brush for doing dither texture brushes, and it works for me. Because dithering is always cool, it's just I don't want to do that shit by hand. Also, one thing that I do miss from the iPad pixel art programs is I can't rotate the screen. And sometimes it makes drawing a little easier when you're able to just rotate by screen. And I bulk this up just a wee. Should work. Normally I don't talk. Normally I just would turn up the music and just work and ponder silently on this difficult puzzle of a art project. That's what I usually do. Like, when I get home and I don't need to stream, I usually just sit in a corner and just focus on working on this pixel art. And that's been my way to take my mind off of the life outside of my room, I suppose. Just nothing else, no other commitments, no like social media stuff, no online Discord talking, though I'm sure somebody's gonna freaking talk to me on Discord. Yep, never fails. Somebody has messaged me on Discord, even though I'm streaming. And it should be telling people that I'm streaming. Why doesn't it ever tell me that I'm streaming? You can chat with me while I'm streaming, but whatever. Yes. That can't be helped. I'll answer that later because it's a message. But yeah, it's kind of just one of those things where I'm out of Discord mode and more into draw stuff mode. Actual laser focus on the project at hand. No need to worry about other projects because you're working on this, and this is all you're doing for the next hour or so. No interruptions, no one trying to call me or tell me about their latest whatever. Don't need to listen to my friends talk about Transformers, I suppose. I mean, cool, talk about anime is cool, but I like making anime over watching anime. Like, I'm sure there's a bunch of anime that's cool that's coming out, but it's like, I kind of just can't keep up with all this anime. And that's kind of just the nature of the beast when it comes to that. I could watch anime, but I flat out don't have time. So I can either deal with it, or I can, no, I can deal with it. I mean, it's gonna be there forever. Like, it's not like the mangaka is going to vanish if I don't read their freaking book. It's gonna be there. If it's good, it's good. And if it's not good, I guess I have like a learning experience to figure out what doesn't make it work. I know there's this one new Shonen Jump manga that's been memed and whatever, like that kid with the katana. I did read the first 2 chapters, and it's alright. It's a simple revenge story, and it's not as edgy as I was expecting. Like, there was this one page in the train where it's like, I awaken with fresh hatred. But that's actually more like, in context, it actually makes a little bit more sense since, like, the main villain killed his dad. So, I mean, he's sort of in the right to want revenge. So, I mean, it's not like a pointless edge, especially since the main villains are pretty tough guys. So, I mean, it seems like a typical, like, it seems like it's in the Demon Slayer genre where, it's about a dude just going on an adventure to get revenge, and it's more typical of, the Japan genre, because it's just a dude with a katana, and it's nothing extreme. That's kind of it. It's not like crazy exceptional. You're not having some insane powers. Like, he does use, like, I'm just gonna say magic, even though I'm sure it's called something else, like Nen and all that. It's in that genre, probably. Sorcery, I think they call it in thing, but it's the same garbage. Like, Nen, chakra, it's the same shit. It's the means of which you do your crazy superpowered bullshit, and you make the big freaking spectacle. Like, it's pretty straightforward. So with this manga, it's I forget the name of it. the kid with the katana. You'll probably even see some memes and people like editing other characters add memes of that character drawing his katana like a little edge lord. So, yeah, just one of those things that people are just memeing about. But so far, it's kind of just meh. I am pretty indifferent to how it is. Let's see. Uh-oh. And then drawing the straps here, so I gotta get that down. I think I'm nearly done with getting the arm down, because on the one hand the arm looks like it's growing, but on the other hand it actually looks kind of fine. I think the only thing I would change is I would thin out the ropes some more. Man, I love the Rocket League Season 1 soundtrack. I wish I was younger so I could have the time to enjoy Rocket League more. But I feel like it would be a really good game with my friends, but I don't know any of my friends are into Rocket League or not, so it's kind of just one of those things where I'd love to get more into Rocket League, but I can't ever scrape up the time. Alright. Actually looks pretty fine. Honestly, yeah, I should probably just go back to reworking this. Yeah, it's bothering me enough that I should at least thin out these ropes. These ropes are too thick. It's possible to be too thick, even when drawing tits. Because otherwise they'll like end up just being stupid looking. But it's my opinion. Most people have stupid opinions, and I kind of just gotta leave it at that. Well. I want to sleep. But it's 8:30, means it's not yet sleeping time. Oh well. Yeah, these sprites are just way too large for an actual cart. Like, I really need to tone down the amount of enemies that are actually going to be here. I think I do need to just get to the testing phase of this. Like, I think the demo's really going to decide whether or not Black Mass will actually, like, or at least the stuff that I want to do with Black Mass is remotely viable. Because, I mean, it's one thing to have all these ideas, but it's another thing to execute them. And that's a worry that's in my head, is whether or not these are even worth executing. Alright. I think I could do some here. Copy. Here. Then paste. Alright, I think I got it now. Right. You work you. How'd you play Bastion? I hear it's a really good, like, it's the first Super Giant game. I know they're already just up to Hades, but it's like, I played 0 of Super Giant's games. I mean, I'm sure they're good games. I mean, it's run by a studio that's really good with, like, art direction. And yeah, Super Giant looks like a studio that's really good with their art direction stuff. Like, the art in that looks great, especially Hades. Like, I'd say Hades is the notable standout of their output, so, that's really nice for them with Hades. And yeah, it's just their general output when it comes to just doing good art direction stuff. Super Giant is among the big fish of that stuff, so congrats to them for just doing really cool stuff overall. I will probably never meet them or work for them or stuff like that, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could. Like, I shouldn't be crazy negative about this. Ugh. Maybe I'm just being tired. Yeah, I keep counting myself out on things. Because, I mean, I'm sure they're probably, like, at whatever big game event, and I just gotta actually pay attention. I'm sure they'll be at E3 or something like that. That's kind of just how that goes. Oh yeah, it doesn't exist. Right. Or at least E3 is kind of dead. So there's Summer Games Fest, there's PAX. There's others. Like, it's not like games are completely lacking in notable events or conventions. Like, video games don't really have much of a convention scene like Comic-Cons do, honestly. Like, you got fighting game tournaments, you got like indie showcases, like, you got your PAXs. But there's also like retro game stuff. Retro game cons are more for that. You got like basically a flea market style setup with that. Let's see. I can't really think of any super significant game dev type. Well, not specifically game dev, but more just video game interest conventions. Straightforward. Like straightforward just I like I like video games in general. I want to go to a big convention for video games and checking out video games, enjoying video games with friends. It's not like an anime con. You know, it's much more. You know, anime cons, they're, you know, it's more for anime and anime style things. Where video games, like, is there a Call of Duty convention? You know what, let's actually look that up. See if I can't find a legit Call of Duty convention. I'm sure there's a Call of Duty tournament, but is there like a convention? Maybe like a gun show, I suppose. I could make a healthy assumption that it's just the latest gun show, wherever the fuck it is. Yeah, it's wherever, like, selling guns and stuff. You got, like, the gun nut stuff. Yeah, a lot of esports stuff, but nothing like personal interest. Yeah, mostly like, yeah, mostly just tournaments, not necessarily just interest stuff. There isn't really a, I guess, general interest video game convention, really like an anime convention. But also Call of Duty League Illinois teams. Other Illinois teams for Call of Duty, there's Optic Chicago. Okay. That's kind of cool. I've probably seen these guys, maybe. Probably like seen a booth where they're like promoting themselves at like maybe like C2E2 or Anime Central or something like that. Probably like one of the giant-er cons. Yes, they do the Call of Duty. Wait, what? They don't have like a proper Twitch? Oh, they're for Texas. Ah, those fucking traitors. Optic. Yeah, there's no freaking Chicago thing. Not at all. There are no Call of Duty teams in Chicago. Probably because real life is just too real for them. Yeah, it's not really. The gun problem in Chicago is really not as bad as everyone fucking makes it out to be. But that's mainly because it's reported on the most because everyone has a fucking agenda. It really doesn't matter because it's Chicago. I mean, I'm sure the South Side has some horse shit, but honestly, there's bad parts of every fucking city. Like, it's not even that big of a deal. And 9 times out of 10 is just black kids just fucking, like, feeling fucking hopeless about life. And then you're, like, remotely chill to them and not, like, assuming they're up to no good. Then they're actually pretty happy to see you, but think you're a cool guy just because you say like 2 words to them a day. But I digress. You know, it's teenagers are, you know, they're constantly in their heads, of course, and I myself am constantly in my head, so I mean I can totally understand that. And you know, they're worried about all the typical teenage stuff, I suppose. And I'm sure, COVID and the plague and all that stuff also massively changed shit up for them as well. Ugh. His gloves shortened a little. Alright. Well, that's convincing enough that I can probably just let go of this arm. Though, this bothers me. Why is the weapon arm like this? Why is the weapon arm just like out here, not making a line at all? That's getting me. I gotta figure what's up with that shit. But I'd say I'm close to figuring out this crap. I think what I'll work on next is his body. I think I'm done with his arm. But I probably should at least adjust the weapon. Just so it's clean overall. Yeah, because he had the trunk. But then once it gets diagonal, it gets turned into a messy mess of pixels. Alright, let me see if I can't clean up the trunk. Alright. Let's actually figure out what the frick to do with this club. And see if I can make it less of an extreme gaggle of pixels. Take this one step at a time. Don't fucking confuse it. Just connect pixels that don't look like anything to pixels that do look like something. Then get rid of the jaggies as they go. Honestly, I probably should just do that instead. Just get rid of the jaggies. Because, I mean, it looks fine. It's just, you got like a bunch of roots. But at worst, it looks okay. I should at least make some little parts stick out just enough. I love the golf team at Pizza Tower. It's nice and relaxing. but still feels interesting sounding. I could get a lot of mileage off of just this, so that's pretty cool. Hey, Ross, how's it going? How are things? I am currently just working on some pixel art that I've been putting off for the past. It's on and off, kind of. It's more of a me just work on it whenever I actually get the time from work. But yeah, I've been all right. I've been doing. I've been prepping for other art tasks. This weekend, I'm actually facing a bit of a conundrum because I'm scheduled for 2 conventions at the same time, and I can't decide which one. One's a 2-day show, but the other is a 1-day show that's slightly less far away from where I live. And I didn't make sure that I didn't have the schedule conflict. Oh, it's less I gotta manage my time and more. I accidentally scheduled 2 things at the same weekend, and that was a bad idea. And I didn't do my due diligence to check if I didn't have that already occupied. But honestly, one of them wasn't good about emailing me enough to let me know that, oh, hey, you have a thing coming up in a month. Like, it was only yesterday that I got an email from this one person where, oh, hey, you got a convention this weekend. I'm like, I do? And I had to double check. And the last email they sent to me about the event was back in April when I initially registered. And I'm like, all right, I mean, I get it. You're a library show. You probably have no budget, but I can't really help you if I have no means of doing this stuff. So that's kind of just one of the personal conundrums I'm pondering. It's likely I'll have to drop one. It's not a huge deal if I miss one con. It's an important lesson, I'd say. It's more me realizing that 1, I need a secretary, and 2, I need to have these conventions written down someplace where I can see it and leaf through all the issues with that. Okay, I think the club's fine. So far, so good with this bear club. Dust stress. Okay. Now we go back to this, where this is kind of looking different. So let me just readjust a few of the thorns here. Yeah, all I'm really doing is kind of just adjusting the weapon club to make sure it doesn't become a complete mess. So that's kind of just interesting with that. Art secretary is a bit pricey. I mean, most jobs are pricey when you have no money. You know, it's kind of just one of those things where, yeah, secretaries are a bit pricey, but they also could save you a lot of time and money in the long run. It's kind of like lawyers. Lawyers are pricey, but their basic job is to protect you from losing even more money. And that's the basic value of lawyers overall. They protect you from, well, crime, of course, but they also protect you from, losing money from like getting sued or losing money from getting hurt or losing money from, or there's civil lawyers, criminal lawyers, domestic abuse lawyers, I think it is. I forget what it's called. But yeah, you got like, it's lawyers. So I've been playing a bit of Phoenix Wright, so I mean, lawyers are on the mind overall. Yeah, just playing a little bit of like Phoenix Wright 2, I think it says, and what's it? Justice for All. I think that's what it is. But yeah, I've only like gone for the first case where you're dealing with like the little lots and stuff like that, but I haven't like done too much with that. All right. Now let's look, make sure that boom. So far, so good. Those getting squishy. Yeah, I should probably like make a fun little effect where, I don't know, coal vanishes. Yeah, we'll just do like a little thing where I unlink and then just delete the rest of the freaking frames just for immersion's sake. Come on. Yeah, I'm just going to delete these coal frames for immersion's sake. Bada boom. Now it's looking much more interesting. Now it looks more like a pitch. Alright. We'll save you. So far, so good. I've got the arm done. And I think that's kind of just been what's been dogging me for the past few days that I've been working on this is the arms. Because I got the motions done. It's just getting the cleanup. It's the big pain. And this could actually be simplified to like lines and stuff like that. Like I could do like, yeah, I could simplify this to some basic line shapes because the point of it is not to be accurate. The point of it is that it's a blur. And that you're not supposed to be able to see this at all. So I'm actually going to de-jagify this. Actually, just clear you out. That just make it more blurry. Let's push this down. Let's clean up the blur. Just make it more like it's feeling the speed and simplifying it. it doesn't have to look this detailed. It's supposed to just be a blur. And it's not even a smudge blur. It's a multiple things blur. Kind of let this go. Add more bands. This. There we are. I'll let this go here. And letting it go. Alright, that's one. Here's the next one, where we just clean you up and just make it as simplified as possible, because this is just a blur. Remember, this is just a blur. We don't need to be crazy elaborate. Just clean this up so it looks more like it's going fast than looking accurate. Like at most I'll put in some outlines because otherwise it'll blend into the background easier. And that's actually been a few problems when I've been making other blurs. Like I do need to readjust a few of the weasel animations because the blade blurs in the background. Yeah, working in monochrome is both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, you don't have to worry about having a color and making sure you have the right color palette. But on the other hand, it is difficult to stretch how much you can work with just no colors. But I'm really good when it comes to drawing in black and white. Like I can make that work with that. I mean, I'm sure other people have difficulties doing that. For me, it matches my art style in general. Like most of the art that I post is black and white, really. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse with that too. Like I could stand to take more than 5 minutes to at least put down a flat color something. Just do something more than just post some uninteresting sketches of OCs doing fucking nothing and standing in white voids. Because that's probably like the main problem that I really have with just my OCs. And honestly, it's kind of a problem with most OCs overall is, yeah, you got like these cool character designs, but they aren't really doing anything. And that's kind of just a constant thing when it comes to just posting art online is, yeah, you got like a lot of these cool ideas, but you have no fucking clue what to do with them. So, that's kind of just one of those tough things when it comes to figuring out how you even do and show people your cool art. Because, yeah, you got a bunch of OCs, I got OCs, but until I actually have a game ready, like, they amount to fucking nothing. I'm trying to change the habit to, oh yeah, it is a tough habit to break because you don't have time to color most days. You kind of just have to either skip a line art phase, which it does sadden me, but I personally like doing line art, or at least I like inking, but that's mostly me just liking black and white art overall. Like, I would love looking at old comics and seeing how they're inked, but that's kind of just me. But like in general, like if you worked off pencils, you could color faster. I mean, that's kind of like given with that. But also, making more work and output every day to kind of just let people know that, hey, you're not fucking dead. I mean, obviously, you should just make stuff strictly for social media and the algorithm, because otherwise you just burn yourself out and become resentful of just art stuff in general and social media and all that stuff, because there's more to success than having a bazillion likes online. Like, a lot of likes online isn't really going to amount to much if, one, you don't even know how to make money off that clout. Like, you could have all the clout in the world, but until you're able to use it to pay the bills, it's not really gonna be much. So I mean, I'm not gonna shit on anyone with that, but that's also learning how to not be a starving artist overall. I mean, that's the typical thing is, make sure that you're able to make money with your art. And most people tend to not think about that. And because I'm constantly doing conventions, now I'm constantly thinking about that. And I do try to not think about it as that often, because obviously constantly think about what will sell will just make you just as resentful, because you'll kind of like feel like, oh, the stuff that I'm offering no one's buying, which means that no one actually wants my artwork. And that's not strictly true. It could be that nobody has cash. It could be that they already have what you sold, especially since I'm still in the state of Illinois. I go to a lot of northern Illinois stuff, and I've been doing it for 3 years strictly in the state of Illinois. And you meet a lot of repeat customers, and if you don't have anything strictly new, they really can't buy anything else from you, because you've already filled their niche, so to speak. You've already given them what they wanted, and now there's very little you can really offer them. So that's kind of just one of those things where it's a constant quest to figure your own self out as not just an artist, but I guess an entrepreneur. Yeah, basically trying to make money with your art is entrepreneurship. You gotta do the business stuff of telling people that, hey, your art is worth buying, and your art is worth giving money to have in your wall, or having it in your room, or having it on your bottle and stuff like that. And in terms of the stickers and all that stuff, you can put it on your bottle, you can put it on your car, you can do yada yada. Like, at the end of the day, it's the customer deciding whether or not they want to buy your thing. So I mean, there's only so much you can really do that'll ultimately be on the buyer's end, really. They're the one who's buying it, not you. You already got your own stickers. Like, you already made the art, you already got the prints. Like, your equivalent is already done, really. Like, all that's left for you to do is to, you know, put it out there. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's really all about. Putting your artwork out where people can see it. And that's the general thing where, yeah, the internet is the easiest way to get people to see your art, but you still do need to let people who are not super familiar with the internet, see your work. Like, you can't just count out, you know, actual brick and mortar or face to face conversations just because we have the technology to never do that again. Like, no, we still do need to do it. I'd say now is kind of a more, I guess, reasonable time because a lot of people still want to talk to people overall. Everyone's recovering from COVID and all that stuff. So you still have people who are interested in talking to others because they haven't talked to a human face to face in a long time. And, we got our human need for contact and closeness and relationships and all that Evangelion stuff. And that's kind of just how that goes. Does this look too thick? Does this look too stiff? This looks too stiff. This probably could at least curve. You want to know what this needs? A liquefy tool. I wonder if I could find a liquefy plugin for Sprite. Probably should have made this more of a curve. Difficult to do curves in Sprite because, well, it's all a bunch of square pixels. Sorry. I'm coughing all the time. Yeah, it looks a little too stiff. Probably could use more curves something. I could use my curve line tool, but honestly, because this is really supposed to be a blur. That's what it's supposed to be at the end of the day. It's just supposed to be a blur. You're not supposed to see it for more than a frame. But that temptation to make it all look good is easy. And you'll have a bunch of turbo nerds being like, oh, let's look at all this tiny smudges that this person made. Oh, and that this one smudge becomes a giant meme. And it's like, fucking whatever. It's dumb. It's a dumb thing to worry about. But it's also like one of those, I guess, artist perfectionism piece where you just want to be exceptional. You want to do your best because that's kind of just the little you can do is your best. That's Jackie, but whatever. Let's get to this, which will actually be a little easier. Oh. That should be easier to do, I'd say. I also haven't played Guacamelee in a while. Like, I started the beginning, beat the first dungeon, and then I kind of just fell off of it because it's just, it's a video game. Like, it'll take too much time to play it. I'm not young as I want to be to play video games. And as much as I would love to play every indie game that shows up and, celebrate the fact that we are creating what's basically a fuck off hard piece of technology. It's all an insane feat of technological prowess. Like every video game is pretty much a miracle because the technology is like you're basically doing 5 different software things at once. Basically, like not only are you making what's basically artificial intelligence and artificial life, but you're also making animations play in a certain sequence. You're making complex math tables, for like item drops and whatever. You are making things like geometric predictions. Like you're basically making it do complex geometry and trigonometry just on the fly. And obviously that's difficult to do. And sometimes you'll end up being a physicist. If you're doing things like physics, you'll be doing things like making physics engines and things like that. You gotta at least know a little bit of physics and trigonometry to be able to capitalize on that knowledge. And we'll just shrink you. Go forward. And yeah, it is a feat of technology that most people don't really think about too hard, because when it all works together, it's a giant, cohesive, I guess, dance of art and technology that very little other things can really do. I guess maybe visual effects, but that's also more like it's interactive. All of that stuff that I just talked about is also interactive. Like you were doing this while someone else can change the rules as they want to, change the physics as they want to, if you let them do that. And you're also like doing things like having them tell complex stories that you've never heard of, or having them do a bunch of I'm a little tired, but basically my big thesis statement on just the fact that I am working on something that's fucking hard to do, and I'm insane for doing this, but the reward will at least be decent. Like there was a recent Masahiro Sakurai video where he like talks about the hardship will be fine because the people who play it will make it all worth it in the end. And that's pretty nice. It's a nice sentiment. Obviously, like there are caveats to it, of course. You can't just crunch all the time. That's not it. We'll make it curve here. Curve it here. But yeah, Sakurai talks about just you're going through the frustrations of making a thing. And it is indeed frustrating to get it all done, because for the longest time it just feels like an absolutely thankless job. And you're doing basically insane feats of programming for, at certain places, just little money, a lot of time, little recognition. But eventually it does end up adding up and being worth it in the end. And that's kind of his thesis statement with that. And Yeah, he's right in a lot of things. I mean, of course, he's the guy who made Super Smash Bros. If he wasn't right, I wouldn't care about anything he says. So, I mean, that's kind of just how that goes. Hey, Paper Piggy, how's it going? Welcome to the art stream, and thanks for stopping by. I have not notified anyone that I'm streaming, but I'm streaming anyway just to keep at it. Currently, I am finishing up some pixel arts where I work on this blur pixel here. It should look better. There we are. Looking pretty good. Obviously, this could be a problem. This, like, stretching. It's kind of like, it could be better. Doing well, that's super cool. Oh yeah, things have been pretty good with that. So far, so good. It's just, this streak is next on my list of figure out how this is going to work. I think I'm actually going to continue this multiple things blur instead of doing the streak. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to copy this weapon, which will be easy because all I got to do, lasso, copy, delete V, copy V. And now what I'm going to do is make things much, much simpler. And actually color over this. That way it'll save me some more future work. Instead of it turning into a blurry mess of pixels, it's going to be a solid block this time. Since this is a blur, I could probably make this much, much larger. Maybe like 3-ish with a little bit of pressure sensitivity. Clear that out. Make this a big band stripe thing. And it'll be nice and set up for a good blur. What program do I use? I use a program called Sprite, and it's the big notable pixel art program that I'd say every pixel artist would use. There are others who will say they'll use things like Photoshop, but you gotta modify Photoshop's brushes so that they actually will pixel art without blurring your pixels so much. And basically, if it's a program that uses like raster graphics, and that's kind of just a general like graphics. Like if you can zoom in on any of your digital art stuff and it hits like a pixel grid, like let me see. I think here it is. So if you zoom in just far enough and you're able to see pixels right now, you can set up your canvas so it's low enough resolution that you can just do basic pixel art stuff. Anyways, actually, yep, I do have my pixel art brushes here. And I adjusted my pixel art brushes so that, they can do pixel art stuff at any color. And it was mostly just me kind of like trying to figure out how the heck do you anti-alias stuff all the time. But you can do this. You can pixel art in Clip Studio Paint. You can do it in Photoshop. You can do it in Krita. It's just I prefer doing it in Sprite because it's all set up from the start to do pixel art. So it makes it lightweight. It makes it easy to just get started working into. And there are plenty of other pixel art programs. Sprite costs $20 to use, but there's plenty of free pixel art programs. You got I think Graphic Scale is a free one. Libra Pixel is a free version of Sprite. Like it's a open source fork of Sprite. So that's also a thing that you can do. So yeah, Sprite's pretty decent with that. So put you a wee bit thinner. Copy B. Rotate you just a wee bit. Make you thinner. Actually, no. What I should be doing is making it trail more. Make it trail a little bit more. And also, they like, oh, they like knock the colors down. I love following your social updates for art and stuff, and it's always exciting to catch a stream. Thank you. Yeah, it's I keep posting on socials just because it's the little I can do. Streaming is tough, as you know. You know, being able to do videos of this stuff is pretty difficult to keep track of, especially when, you know, you got a day job and you're doing other stuff, of course. So, you know, it's nice when you do stop by, and I appreciate it a lot. I do my best to keep everyone updated in terms of things like the status of Black Mass and figuring that stuff out. Earlier I did talk about Unity's runback, and I don't care much for that, but you know, we're still using Unity, so let me put that out there and say, Adam and I, we are still using Unity for our game, and you know, that's what we're gonna be doing. That's the plan. A lot of indie devs have just jumped ship because they're justified in doing that, and that's kind of just the gist of how this is going to go for the next year or so as Black Mass finishes and gets done. I think I can just make you green. That's it. I don't know why I didn't use paint bucket, but whatever. That'll work. I could nudge down and that'll work. I'm still trying to learn to use RPG Maker on my end. I have no idea. RPG Maker is steep to learn, I'd say. Really steeper than people think. But I think once you get through like the UI and figuring out the process of importing stuff, I think you'll be able to get it. I've been touching Godot in my personal time, or Godot, or however the hell you pronounce it. And you know, it's pretty alright. I'm learning how to import stuff, and it's pretty drag and drop with that. So I've been able to learn just how to just import art assets into Godot. So I've been dabbling in that whenever I have time to kind of just look at tutorials on YouTube. And yeah, it's pretty alright. I don't know if I'll be making a bigger game with that, but you know, it's always nice to just have the extra skills. That's another thing that I will say about this Unity fiasco is it's got people to at least try other engines and try other skills and figure out what else they can do besides do the typical Unity engine all the time. And it's an overall just net good to try other programs, see if you can learn other pixel art programs, see if you can learn other digital painting programs, try learning 3D modeling, try learning video editing. Your mind's not static. Like, you can learn if you put your mind to it. It's not impossible. And, I've been teaching myself that it's not completely the end of the world that you aren't doing a thing. And this is doable, even if you were shown to hate it. You won't hate it forever. Like, if you follow my Twitter, I posted, I think 2 days ago, about my school closing because there was news of the art institutes closing down and how much art institutes sucked. And everybody was kind of just waxing poetic about how much the art institute colleges sucked. And my college was no exception. I blew a lot of money on stuff that probably could have learned online, or probably could have gone to a convention or something like that. And that's kind of just wax about the fact that there's so much stuff online that you can learn. You can learn these different skills. It's not impossible to gain them. It's just a matter of taking a little bit of time to kind of just do it. So, I'm not gonna say that's absolutely freaking easy, but it is doable. I'll say that much. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. Alright, so now I'm going to slightly rotate you because you're actually slightly rotated. I actually realized I totally messed up here, because this is actually supposed to be rotated down just enough. And then these are supposed to rotate kind of down-ish. Alright, let's see. It's looking super okay, bro. Now we just need to get rid of that other streak and it should be fine. Alright, streak 1. Actually, I could probably unlink you. Get rid of you. Or better yet, I could just recopy paste you for the other side. Copy. Get rid of you, use you. First. Oh. Come back. Copy. Oh. V. Oh. Come on. You can do this. And then just stretch it just thin enough. That has a wee bit of squash and stretch to it. Probably just a pixel so it's noticeable that it's not a complete block in here. So it looks a little more sophisticated than just I made it just a copy paste job. I mean, overall it looks good. Alright. looking more consistent. But now I'm realizing that the streak's too much. Da-da-da. I think I can let it go now. It's nearly 9:30 and I just want to sleep. But I'd say I did pretty well and made plenty of progress, I'd say. And let me nudge you just a wee bit. Yeah, that'll look slightly better. Alright. Actually looking pretty good. All that's left to do is just get their get the belly down. And I'd say it's looking much better and run betterer. This is a lot of effort for what's basically a giant enemy, which is he probably could be a boss. He's big and tough. He's supposed to be more of a wandering boss, like a sort of like wandering stalker enemy, like the Alien Isolation Alien and things like Resident Evil 3 and Amnesia and things like that. He's supposed to be like a really tough stalker enemy. So that's kind of what I'm envisioning for basically the bigger animals I want to see in Black Mask. But yeah, I mean, so far so good with this. You know, it's things will do better with that. And things are looking slightly better, I'd say. So yeah, I mean, this is a nice bit of progress, and I could say that I did well with the stream. And yeah, it's nearly bedtime for me, so I think I'll just wrap this stream again. And thank you everyone for attending the Massive Fan Art stream. You know, I've been doing pretty well. Next week I should be back in the groove of actually streaming. I think I should just re-say my general schedule stream, where I used to say that I stream at 5 p.m., but it takes so long to set up or get home, or I'll even just take a nap, that I end up like starting these streams at 7 at night. So I'll say next week, 7 p.m. Wednesday or Thursday. I still need to figure that stuff out. I think Wednesdays have kind of just not felt good to me, so I'm gonna try to do just more Thursday streams. So I'm gonna do Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. So I will see you all next time, and thank you very much for stopping by. Have a good day.